The Jeffrey Epstein files have now been released, at least the first batch of them, to Congress, including a recording, the transcript of a recording of an interview between Ghislaine Maxwell and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. That is expected to be reviewed as we speak, and we are going through that transcript right now. This comes as the DOJ is also expected to give a congressional committee the first set of documents related to Epstein. Let's go straight to Adam Horowitz now. He is an attorney who represented 8 Epstein accusers who had civil lawsuits over claims of sexual abuse. Adam, thank you so much, as we are literally scrambling right now to cover this breaking news with DOJ releasing these files to the Oversight Committee. What is it that your clients are looking for in these documents?
Sure, thank you. Well, the production and the eventual release of these documents is welcome, and it's obviously long overdue. It's something we've been clamoring for a long time. As we say, the sunlight is the best disinfectant, and I think that's the case here. In terms of what to expect, it's difficult to predict. There has been no outreach from the Department of Justice or anyone else toward us or our clients in terms of what might be in those records. So there's certainly a lot of things that we want to see in those records, but we don't know yet what will be there. So there's a lot of speculation. Our clients were part of the original group in 2006 who came forward to the Palm Beach County Police long before Jeffrey Epstein entered into the famous non-prosecution agreement. And so my clients in particular want to know who, what, when, and why that non-prosecution agreement was entered into, because had Jeffrey Epstein been properly prosecuted in 2008, this story would have been long over. But here we are, almost 20 years later.
And Adam, I wonder what you specifically are going to be looking for in the transcript of this interview between Blanche and Maxwell.
Sure. Well, Maxwell is a central figure in all this, and the Jeffrey Epstein story cannot be told without Ghislaine Maxwell. She was central to all of his criminal enterprise, as the jury found in New York State in 2021. So what we're concerned about in those records is that, once again, political influence and an uneven system of justice is being handed out. It's very unusual for a deputy attorney general to be meeting with a criminal defendant individually, much less one who is still on appeal. She's still appealing her conviction to the Supreme Court. So I'm not certain why the meeting was held or what they were looking for, but the concern is that, once again, there's going to be an uneven level of justice being administered. And that's what our clients are most concerned about. We've already seen that. We've already seen that when she was transferred from one facility to another.
And Adam, as we will begin to review these documents, DOJ obviously was instructed by the House subpoena to redact the names of victims and other sensitive information. Do you trust that DOJ is going to turn over everything that they can? Obviously, sensitive information could mean different things to different people.
That's right. And that's the concern, is that this will become a political exercise. We're certainly grateful that it was a bipartisan effort to subpoena these records, but once we get into the redactions, there's a concern that political influence will sway things, and not everyone will agree on what should be redacted. From our perspective, the only things that should be redacted is the names of victims and any child sexual abuse materials. But anyone else who might have criminal exposure or might have participated in Epstein's criminal behavior, their names should be out there, whoever they are.
I also am curious to get your thoughts on the possibility that the head of House Oversight, James Comer, argued that he can't imagine very many scenarios that there would be further redaction. Do you have any concerns about further redaction?
Absolutely. I mean, we've already heard just moments ago that the president called the Epstein documents a hoax. So already political influence is weighing in on this. But more important than even the redactions, frankly, is how these documents are going to be used in the future. It's my hope, and the reason that these documents should be produced is so that we can learn from them. Epstein was, by all accounts, one of the most prolific traffickers of children and abusers of children. And so, remember, this is an oversight committee. Their job is to promote accountability and responsibility in federal government. And certainly there's a lot of room for process improvements, to say the least here. There were mistakes made by prosecutors, investigators, judges. And so I hope everyone can learn from these documents when they come out about those mistakes and identify the grooming behaviors and the techniques employed by Jeffrey Epstein and his conspirators in grooming and abusing children, so that we can identify them and prevent it in the future. That's the whole point here, is to learn the lessons that and from the mistakes that were made 20 years ago.
And Adam, we spoke with a Democratic congresswoman earlier today who said that there was some hesitation among staff on the committee to call Alex Acosta to testify. He's obviously the former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. He's the one that brokered that 2008 non-prosecution agreement with Epstein. Why do you think that is?
Well, why do I think he entered into the agreement? That's an excellent question.
Why do you think he hasn't been called to testify, or why is a Democratic congresswoman saying that there's chatter among staff that there's a hesitation to call him to testify?
He absolutely should be called to testify. To me, that's, again, our clients were the ones who reported this to law enforcement in Palm Beach County, and he was the one who brokered the deal that gave Jeffrey Epstein this unprecedented immunity. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to enter a plea to 2 counts of prostitution. Our clients who were 15 and 16 years old were called prostitutes. Absolutely, Alex Acosta should be accountable for that and answer questions for why that deal ever happened. Because if that deal hadn't happened, this case would have been over long ago, and we wouldn't be talking about this many years later.
I do want to update our viewers. CNN is now reviewing the material that the Justice Department has released, this transcript and audio of the interview that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche had with Ghislaine Maxwell, the associate of convicted sex molester Jeffrey Epstein. Separately, the Justice Department has transmitted the records related to Epstein to House Oversight. Adam, in a couple of weeks, Congress is set to return, and Republican Congressman Thomas Massie and Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna have said that they are going to hold a press conference with Epstein victims. Are you planning to come to D.C. and be a part of that? Absolutely. Every one of our clients, if invited, will participate. They want to see that everybody is held accountable, who should be held accountable, and to bring exposure to all the many ways that the victims here were let down time and time again. I also am curious to get your thoughts on testimony from the first witness that we know testified before the committee, and that is the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who was in office when Epstein died. He testified that the general consensus is that Epstein died by suicide. James Comer apparently characterized Barr's testimony that way. There was some dispute about whether Barr completely cleared Donald Trump of any involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. The leading Democrat on that committee, Robert Garcia, said that Barr did not completely clear Trump. I wonder what you make of Barr's testimony overall, whether you trust that consensus that Epstein killed himself, and the idea that Trump's name may come up in these documents.
I'm of the opinion, and I think most serious people who have looked at the issue are of the opinion that he died by suicide. There's lots of conspiracies out there. I don't choose to participate in that. With respect to Barr's testimony, I don't think that Donald Trump was necessarily cleared in the investigation, nor was he identified as a criminal conspirator. I don't think there's anything conclusive about that one way or another. But we've already been told that when the FBI produces documents to the congressional committee, that his name's going to be redacted. So we've been told that already, which just raises a lot of questions.
Adam Horowitz, we have to leave the conversation there. Thanks so much for joining us. We have much more on the breaking news. The Justice Department publicly releasing a transcript and audio of a conversation between Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Also, the Justice Department has transmitted records over to the House Oversight Committee that now has the first batch of Epstein files in its possession. Stay with CNN. We'll be right back.